Hello, I'm Kimberly Henry, and this is Living the Good Life. In this series, we'll feature conversations around ways to embrace the goodness of life and take a big, juicy bite out of it. Food for the soul and the funny bone. Learn to give more time to yourself, become a better friend, lead an amazing life, and how to tell the best joke at the party. Living the good life can mean different things to different people. Whatever it is for you, I hope you'll find some inspiration here to live your most joyful, authentic life. Now, on to today's conversation. Today, we are talking about something every single one of us experiences at some point. Those seasons where life doesn't look anything like the picture we had in our head. Our guest today is an award-winning author, podcast host, speaker, lay minister, nonprofit founder. I don't know how she has time for this podcast. She's also the author of Junk to Jewels, A Journey from Brokenness and Despair to Beauty and Delight. Her story is one of turning pain into purpose and using her own journey to help others rediscover hope, community, and meaning. Through her 4C's framework, contemplation, community, caring, and contribution, she encourages people to move beyond simply surviving and begin creating a life of connection and purpose. And we are all about that. Georgette Beck, welcome to the Living the Good Life podcast.
Yay, Kimberly, thank you. I'm so excited to be here because that's my motto, living the good life, and it means a lot of things.
It
Love
does.
it.
And we talk about this from time to time. It means something different for everyone. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it, is understanding and embracing that. And you've
Yeah,
done that beautifully.
thank you. Yes.
You are coming to us from sunny Florida today, right?
Yes, ma'am. Treasure Coast.
Yeah.
Hot, 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 hot. I bring my little Amazon fan everywhere with me. It helps. It keeps me keeps me somewhat sane. And our dogs, my poor little puppies. It's almost 100 degrees here today.
Wow. Well,
Goodness.
hope there's a lot of indoor time, I'm sure.
Yes. Air
Yeah.
conditioning is a great invention, and I'm so thankful for who did that forever and ever.
I told my folks the other day, it's a weekend where you need to incorporate ice and
Yes,
water, and then you'll be fine.
I
So,
love that.
so Georgette, I want to start kind of before the beginning.
Mhm.
When somebody meets you today, like we're doing, we see author, speaker, podcast host, founder, but we don't kind of see all the layers and the things that brought you to this place. So, who were you before Junk to Jewels and all of the glorious things you've created since then?
I love, Kimberly, that you used the word layers
Mm,
because my journey, Junk to Jules, is layers and it's process. And so who Georgette was, she was like, I'm a positive person. Like I have that personality, smiley. I was always known as the girl who smiles, like smiley Georgette and reader. I would always have my nose in a book and got in trouble in school all the time for that. But on the outside, I was the smiley one and a people pleaser, perfectionist, afraid to ask questions, afraid to really say my mind until, gosh, even my first corporate job, when I wanted to ask a question in our meeting, when I put my hand up, my heartbeat, just to even put my hand up, my heartbeat, I was so insecure in the
mm,
self-esteem. I thought I was so obese and I wasn't. I never could wear tuck-in shirts. And then I found out later, hindsight, you're looking back at pictures and you see this gorgeous girl and I'm like, girl, and what is that I brought extra weight on because I thought I was overweight, but it
right.
wasn't true. So I was so like I did not share myself with people. So when I wanted to try out for softball team in high school. I was supposed to, because that was going to be part of my healing. I tried out and did all the days. And on the last day, when it was really going to count, the final tryout, I did not show up
Mm,
because I was so embarrassed. I had shame And I was so like I felt I was so embarrassed for people to look at me and criticize, and they would say, "Look at that girl," and I would just so it was shame. I had shame. And later, God brought that back full circle. I'm a faith person, so I talk about it because it's in my fiber. Like without faith, I just wouldn't have come to know the love that's out there
Hmm.
and that I
Hmm.
matter. I'm seen, I belong. That came a lot later, but I was invited to serve on a softball team, a co-ed team, as one of the first things that started my healing journey after my rescue. I call it the rescue season. So, excuse me, things come full circle when they are meant to. And I think sports is great for women to participate because the sisterhood, the males and the females together, like, and you find your confidence in different group activity like that. So I was embarrassed. Like it was, I felt I was the junk. Like I never knew my value and I did not think I had value. I felt the odd one out, the invisible one, the unfavored one. People always said you're too much, you're too this, you're too that. I got straight A's. I was firstborn, of course, type personality, the
Hmm.
overachiever. And I did that because that's when I got the affirmation from teachers, from my parents. And but
Yeah.
then if you get the 1B, what's that about? I had a
Right.
or a
I so
D for
identify with that.
apathy.
I'm also a
You do.
firstborn. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's part of that personality, but
Yeah.
then add on any self-esteem issues and that's the only feedback you're getting. You're going to achieve. That's what you look for.
Yeah. Yeah. You're always looking to strive.
Yeah. So
So
does that paint the picture? It was kind of
that was, yeah,
sad,
I think yeah,
depression, like it was sad.
if we all look, just at TV and movies that we've seen over the years, there's always that character in there, right?
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Putting in the Beast Belle, parts of her and how she comes to know her worth and value. And yeah, I mean, I always resonate to those figures who are becoming
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
the
And so
truth.
how did you junk to Jules? So it creates a picture in your mind. I mean, it's instantaneous. You can kind of figure out where we're going with this, right?
Yes,
How did
yes.
you come up with that phrase?
Well, honestly, during my rescue, I really, I dove into reading my Bible even more. Like I always believed it as a little girl in faith and God and all that, but it didn't really solidify until the rescue. Somebody heard my prayers in a closet. Like I was
Mhm.
on the floor crying and all these different situations started happening and you don't see it when it was happening. I looked back and I saw the connections, but I started reading the scriptures and it's inspired by that one. I don't have the exact verse, but it had to do beauty from ashes. And my life was devastated. Like I lost everything I thought was important. I lost what I perceived as love. And I was very much feeling alone and abandoned and rejected and trash because
Hmm.
everyone said I was the messed up one. Like they treated me and acted like I was the messed up one.
And this is into your adulthood now, right? This is beyond
Since
the high
my,
school.
my marriage broke. Yeah, my own family thought I was the reason the marriage was divorce ending. And then later they apologized and learned the truth and understood. And then God was the first one to say to me too in my own private time, hey, marriages take two.
Right.
Yes, you had some failures, but there's root causes to a lot. So there's grace because you do things you don't understand about. But Junk to Jules, it came from just my journaling. It rose up in my spirit. And it's a repeat cycle I learned later in my life. Fast forward into the blended years when I got my, met the man I prayed for, right? The second chance at romance guy and family guy. And it's just a process. And it reminds me of the diamond, what a diamond goes through and the pearl. And it continues. Junk to
Hmm.
jewel, continuous process in our lives. And horrible and happy are sometimes intermixed all at once. Our day can be so beautiful one day, everything's lining up. And I've experienced this even now today. And then the next day, you're like, what am I doing? I'm so discouraged. My numbers, it's
Yeah.
not moving forward. I'm learning too much. I'm on overwhelm. And then the next day, it's like, ooh, connections galore. So you're like I don't know, Tigger bouncing up and down one day and Eeyore the next. So junk to jewels is just something you're learning constant.
So
you know?
it's not a trajectory where you start in one place and finish in the other, and
It
it's
it
all a
it is
climb. It's not all a
it,
climb.
it is and isn't because I think it's leveling like layers.
Uh-huh.
Your layers are becoming beautifuler, right? And I think it's
Hmm.
leveling up in your attitude, your emotions, your healing. You gain more and it's layers and you're adding the jewels. But when you come
Hmm.
up to a new level, even in life, there's a whole new learning. You're on square one with what you
Hmm.
have to learn to be at that new level of thinking and emotional maturity and spiritual maturity and professional knowledge. Just like any of us, when we start a new chapter in life, a new career, you move somewhere else, you got to start all over with learning that community, that language, that
Hmm.
job skill set. And I think all of us were meant to expand. We are all meant to constantly learn something new every day and share yourself with others around. Like so
Hmm.
it's a continuous cycle, but a beautiful cycle because the jewels stay. Once you get the jewels from one area of your life, they stay within you and you keep adding and your sparkle, I think gets brighter and you're more dazzling. Like I'm
Oh,
the
I
best
love
I've
it.
ever been in my life at this point, even though I still have issues and cry about stuff or hope on stuff and pray on stuff. I wouldn't want to go back, but I
Right.
wouldn't say I would change anything because every part of it became who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like all the books you read, they become
Right. What was the first thing, the first step up, if you will? That,
you. Oh, I like it. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's part of my four C's. The first step was the rescue. So God moved me from one state to the next, uprooted. We were
like
uprooted.
geographic state, right?
Yeah, Connecticut to Florida.
Okay.
And I had to resign from a corporate job that I loved. I thrived. I started to blossom there. I had a mentor for my very first time. This woman took me under her wing. I looked up to her. She was in this professional suit, and I just admired her so much, and I wanted to be like her. And she
Mm-hmm.
taught me how to reach out to other people. So my branch manager, I became one of the favorite employees. Add that to your self-esteem. Like they
Right.
chose me over and over for promotions on purpose for pilot programs where the whole world of Chubb, and that's where I work, Chubb Group of Insurance, wherever they started a new idea for something, they had to test it. We were the test unit. And I got to selected 3 times for different places in the corporation in our branch. And my
Your
branch manager,
inner
when I told him, huh,
firstborn child, your inner firstborn child,
oh
love
God,
that.
I was I was received. And
Yeah.
the branch manager said to me, "Why are you resigning?" When I resigned to
Uh,
move. And I looked at him and I said, "Listen, I got to know in my heart, I gave everything I have to this marriage before it fully break. Like it's broken. Divorce is on
oh,
the horizon, but I was still hoping for restoration. I was praying for a miracle. And I said, I got to know I gave all of it. So we're moving to Florida. We're going to give it another go. And he's like, "Well, okay, but we're losing a good one. Like you have a future here."
oh,
And I,
wow.
yeah, and a good pay. They paid for education. They do bonus. It was so good all the way around. But Kimberly, I don't have any regrets in my heart. I know I gave everything. And sat, then we get to Florida and it takes two. And if one party doesn't want to forgive or continues to stay in anger, I lived with someone for a year who hated me while we're hoping for this miracle. And then it became the separation
Mm-hmm.
and the person did not go to counseling. That was eventually a couple months in, he was out, separation, and I was like, listen, counseling and Sundays is family day because remember if workaholism, there's loneliness. Lonely in a marriage is like the worst place to be ever.
Right.
And and then family day. Like let's have one day off where you don't work, family day, a date night. I don't know. I think there was 3 criteria. That's all I asked for. No. So, and I had already changed. I couldn't go
Right.
back. No way I was going back. And then sure, I got counsel. And eventually he wasn't coming back. So I got, my church seniors and council, they said, listen, he's abandoned you and
Mhm.
he's not coming back. You will have to file for the divorce. I didn't want to, but it was in limbo for a very long time. And
Mm.
you got to make that decision at some point. But
Hmm.
everyone is in a different place with that because later I help people heal for 7 years in a divorce care ministry, and then we did mentoring with my husband now, and everyone's different. You don't just, some people walk away very quickly. Some people want to give it a time, and some people wait even longer. But every
Right.
that's their own decision, and every heart is different. I
Right.
waited, I prayed, and then I had a release. I was given the release, and that's when we proceeded forward into that final chapter of the door closing.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of your turning point is when you had the realization that it was over and you needed to
Yeah.
move forward.
And the first thing was the caring. Like it goes two ways. First, God, like like a mama with her chicks, or I was gathered in,
Uh-huh.
uprooted, put. Now, mind you, the uproot part was painful, but when he put me down, he planted me in a neighborhood community, a church community, and then a job community. My job was all these women who cared about me. Eventually, they got to know.
Hmm.
They all took me under their wing. They all received me and my daughter fully. So all of a sudden now people really like me. They see me and they're inviting me in and in. I was invited to an Easter celebration with the family. Happiest Easter I've ever experienced. That was the first one. Invited into dinner, oh, there's a new Bible study. You should go. Like all these different things. I was invited in. And then
Hmm.
later I learned about giving out the caring, right? But
Right.
then counseling was a part of let's see, the contemplation. There's community that for sure that started in caring. Contemplation, my journals. I learned how to, ask questions, be reflective, that quiet time, all of that combined, all the crying I did, a lot of crying, but those were prayers, all the
Right.
tears.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
Let's talk about the community a little bit because that is really one of the areas where it's been proven that quality and quantity of life, so how good your life is and how long your life
Yes.
is hugely impacted by your community.
Yes, it is. Research
Yeah.
absolutely backs that up. And longevity of life.
Mm-hmm.
They did research about certain places where people are so connected to their neighbors and friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Italians or European countries, but here and even here, like we have our little Nettles Island community, for instance. They have so many things you could do in one given day. They have so many clubs that people can join. It started off as a little RV community, somewhat of what you love to do. And
Yeah.
then the people retired there. But then because generations keep coming back, it's all ages, all
Mm-hmm.
families, all types. You have people that live there full time, you have people come in seasonal, and then you got ones that just pop in on the weekends, for a short trip. Um, there's like my neighbor Sandy Dorkin, she was on my podcast in the past. She almost died. There's a huge story there, but she's in her 70s, I think, but you wouldn't know it. 70s, or yeah, she is dancing. She leads the dance club. Okay.
Nice.
You have golf, you have the boater club, they have the pet club, they have any club that you want, and they have bingo night. They do a Valentine Day dinner, they do Thanksgiving, they have a little church on the island too. So
Mm-hmm.
just for instance, just that alone, people stay alive. And when someone hears of something happening, which it just did, we had somebody's son was in an accident. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone's wanting to know and it's a small community, so everyone knows everybody's business. So
Right.
it's like
Right.
pro and con of that, but they send notes, cards, food if someone needs help. If someone notices a lost cat, we did too. Hey, we just saw this cat walking around. Whose is it? All right. And then we all went on a mission to get the cat adopted because we think the owners left the island. So everyone is like that.
That sounds like
But
a movie.
oh my God, it's almost get goosebumps on that idea.
One
But
of
let me
those
tell you,
charming movies.
but look, like people are living and they're older living and happier. Listen, even the young ones are happier. And and that's like the community. I never knew of such like my first real friends, heart to heart friends came from that Bible study and my church. We're still friends today. This is like decades later. But
Nice.
I started to wake up. I started to get out of the unconscious living, automatic, generational repeat in your head and heart you didn't even know you had. And then
Mm-hmm.
you start to come out of yourself. You start to discover you have your own passions, your own ideas, your own purpose, and you get your voice. Like you start to come along. And I wrote in my journal once, I was like, oh my gosh, I think I have a real life. I was shocked that I had
Oh,
like go to this
wow.
on this night and we have dinner with my friend on this night and then we're going to this meeting and it was like a movie night here and then of course, when I started dating here and there, but and it just like people and what breaks my heart, Kimberly, like you said, like it's such a crisis right now with community. People are
Mm-hmm.
lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Social, the social media is very helpful, but it's not the same as an in-person, face-to-face, heart-to-heart, hug, hand, presence, being in the room with someone,
Right.
because there's more to that. Like I'm meeting people from all over the world like you are in the virtual arena, which is wonderful. But then it gets better when you run into them somewhere or do a
Yes.
meet somewhere.
The
Don't you think?
the face to face. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of
Yeah.
the things I love about this RV lifestyle is that we go different places. And so there's often somebody who I've only met virtually in that location that I can grab coffee with. And yeah, I just love that. Let
Yeah.
me just ask one more question along this line, and that is for just to kind of check in, if somebody's listening who feels stuck, feels maybe not in crisis, but just like things aren't going their way, they aren't being seen, they aren't connecting, they aren't succeeding. What is briefly the very first thing you would have them do?
Well, acknowledge that. Say it and say it's okay that I'm feeling these things. And
Mhm.
I use journaling as a way, like make a list of your thoughts. Because then you're saying like you're giving it legit, it's I can't think of the word. It's real.
Legitimacy.
Yes. It's legitimate and
Yeah.
it's real and you honor what you're feeling.
Yeah.
You write it out. So journal, make a list or write it out. And then just think, okay, who do I look up to? Who's around me that I admire? Or who do I feel connected to in some way? Even next door, my neighbor, or at school or the job. Like, is there anyone that has always been kind to me or has been respectful of me? That's the
Mm-hmm.
first step.
Mm-hmm.
Invite them for coffee or something. Like, say, hey, can I call you sometime to ask you some questions? Like, just reach out because most of us love it when somebody says, hey, I'd like to know you a little better. Would you have coffee with me?
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've done that, people say yes. And when people ask me, I say yes because we all need that conversation. It's the
Mm-hmm.
hardest part to do the reaching out at first. But like even today, I went to a networking and I still have to do this. When I have things on my calendar to go out, right, and get in a room of people, I still have some thoughts that come. Like sometimes there's a little anxiety or nervousness. But every single time when I come home, that was the best decision I ever made because we're
Mm-hmm.
made to be in relationships with people. We need each other. Like we need
I,
each other on so
yeah.
many levels.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Now,
just ask, just reach out to someone.
I think
Even go take a
that's
class if you don't want to get like personal. You want to be in a group setting like that. Maybe that's more safer instead of the one-on-one because there's more intimacy in the one-on-one.
right.
Maybe the group setting is easier. Go to a class, go to a concert, and then say hello to your neighbor. Like that's an easier way in, I think maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Good advice. Now, we talk a lot on this podcast about what success, we don't usually use the word success, but what the good life looks like, right? And a lot of people identify that with corporate success,
Mhm.
monetary success, whatever.
Yeah.
What about your definition of success? Because you were climbing the ladder, right? And
Yeah.
still having issues. So has your definition of success changed over time?
Yes, because your heart values, your priorities, your goals, they change. As you evolve, those things changed. I would look back through my little prayer list or my lists, and they have evolved through the years. You can see it, and that shows you
Mhm.
how I've changed. But so, I mean, obviously, here on the Treasure Coast, the good life is, the water makes
Mm,
me feel the happiest. It's my happy place when I'm by the ocean or in front of the river or in the river on a boat at the sandbar, here we call it. Okay, that's a happy place. But more than that, it's how am I feeling on my inside and meaningful relationships when I have a good interaction with someone and we both walk away excited and we both received encouragement, inspiration, or, just some help or assistance, like we did, it was mutual. That's a good day. Like when we have
hmm
a dinner with friends or like the luncheon I went to, I belonged to a Go Getter Girl network today. And then yesterday I went to a Premier Women's Network, giant room full of people. But the more you go, the more you get to know people and they recognize you. They're glad to see you and it makes you feel good. And then they feel good because you honor what they bring to the table. That's the good life. My marriage, like my husband and I, just being respectful of each other, honoring our values, honoring our dreams. We support each other's likes or dislikes as best. We consider each other. And so good relationships, and a good, my book got published after I'm a late bloomer. That the book was in my heart for a lot of years. Again, I'll use decades because that's the truth. It's over 20. Um, but I'm a late bloomer. It took a little longer for me to grow and to develop and I was in that egg for a while before the egg cracked and you know come
Uh-huh.
out. Flower. It took a long time to bloom. Still blooming.
Right.
But it's all of that. Like do
Ever
your
blooming.
the good life is you know what your dreams are. You know what your purpose is. You really know what you enjoy, what lights you up. Like I buy myself flowers. My husband sometimes buys them, but I'll buy myself a bouquet because I love flowers. I surround
hmm
myself with colorful items because I love colors, and I have fun with it. I was painting last week. I took out all my paints and they're still in the living room. Kimberly, my husband's like, so how long is that all going to stay out? And I'm like, well, reminds me to paint. So we'll see. But I've got my canvas out there. I painted and I was like a little kid with the colors and painting. It's not great. I'm not great, but it's fun. So that's the good life. When you
Yeah.
honor what you
Having
love.
the resources to be able to make all of those choices, I think, is maybe
Yeah.
the undergirding of that
And
for
some of
sure.
it's free. Like if you love the ocean, go walk alongside it. It's free. Or if you love books, you can go to the library. Like it,
hmm
so some things involve the cost, some things don't. Like, but just knowing what you love, what
hmm
you love is what
That
gives
that
you life.
that's huge. I think people who are stuck or lost or depressed or whatever, they have a hard time defining what it is that they love. So I think that's a huge step for sure. I wanted to ask you though, kind of you described this painfully quiet, shy, awkward girl in the beginning of our chat. So what gave that girl permission to write a book?
Oh my gosh. So layers. It was one lesson, one aha moment, one confirmation, one encouragement, one success, one failure, or what one I really don't want to feel that way no more, or one. Now here's so the understanding of who I was evolved, got stronger and solidified. Some of my professional path added confidence. I had a lot of shift. There was some shifts, but every one God had told me, I call it strategic assignments, and that's what he said. These are strategic assignments. Some of us are in one career for our whole life, some of us not. I had a few couple careers, I'll call it,
Mm-hmm.
different hats. I was a teacher, I was an insurance agent. I grew up in a commercial office, a landscape firm, and I was the errand girl to office manager. I worked for a law firm, but I worked for a municipality of this little division, and then I got a promotion and another promotion, and I ran the little division and helped it grow. That was the last defining moment where you can have your own company. You're an entrepreneur. You have all
Mm-hmm.
these creative ideas, and you helped other people succeed. You helped other people and their businesses do well and thrive because I brought my skill set to the table. So that kind of knowledge gives you that confidence. I'm not, there's no ego or pride here because I have a lot of humility and I don't always recognize my strengths, Kimberly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the last at the party to know that I could have done something 5 years ago because I'm still learning. I think I got to over research and over learn it. But so that's why the book, like it took a long time because it was building up. And so
Mm-hmm.
now when I mentored and volunteering, so not for nothing, even when I didn't know all this about myself, I started to volunteer and help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So guardian ad litem, a big sister. I was a volunteer in a boys' orphan home in Connecticut before we were uprooted. That's when I first knew I wanted to help others like that. These boys had no mom, like there was no home. And I knew then, oh my gosh, I didn't know this world. People need other people like this. And so I learned, and that started to solidify with information about I am not here just to do my own life. Well, all I learned and all that I have to give is to give it away. Like I have a heart,
Mm-hmm.
I can care for other people and mentor other people, teach like people did for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do this. And
Mm-hmm.
that adds to your love and confidence and desire to be a better person and to learn more and do more. So yeah, it does, yeah. So just,
Layers. I love it. Layers. Layers,
yeah.
layers. And now talking about service, you um parlayed that, and we mentioned this earlier, into your own nonprofit, and that is the Bella Healing Hearts Foundation. How did your story kind of move you in that direction?
So when I was a single mom in my apartment building, when I was the insurance agent, I had an epiphany, and that's when I went back to school. I had an epiphany while listening to music. It just came to me like, I'm going to go to the college and apply. It just came up in my heart. And then I'm like, how is that going to work? How am I going to have money to do that and then take care of my daughter and blah, blah, blah. I didn't have the answers, but I knew I was going to go to the college and ask, how do I apply? How do I
Mm-hmm.
apply to get a college degree? And I went down there and it took faith. I jumped the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
They helped me. Somebody there helped me fill out an application for their liberal arts, the 2-year degree.
Mm-hmm.
Then days later, I get a call and I qualified for grants. I had no idea. So that started the educational journey. So am I want to add more. What was the original question?
You're good. How did your journey get you to start this
Oh,
foundation?
Bella, it was that same thing. I was the single mom. The people in my church would leave me Christmas gifts for my daughter. Um, my
Oh,
neighbors would leave us Christmas gifts.
uh-huh.
When I needed money, like eviction notices on the door.
Mm,
Again, the church community, I would go to my pastors and I would ask for help, and that's very humbling. Nobody wants to ask for help. I was always the one giving help to other people,
mm,
being the strong person um but that was humbling. And then my family helped at different times. And I was like, you know what? I just had a knowing and I like people are helping me and my daughter. I want to do that. Like that's when I knew I didn't want to be an insurance agent forever. That's why going it made sense. Oh, go to the college because I wanted to be of service, and I was thinking
mm-hmm,
social work. Um, but my advisor at the time's like, go for the higher degree of education, like being a teacher. The
mm-hmm,
educational Bachelor of Arts, because that was my next step, Bachelor of Arts program. And I did get a Bachelor of Arts in Education, K through 6. It was at elementary age. because you could do more. She's like, you'd burn out in a year or two with social work. So get that higher degree and then you could do whatever you want under it, basically. Good advice.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So
It was how people
you went
loved
to
me.
school and earned a degree as a single parent
And then working.
and
So my
working.
my whole focus was my daughter's school. Her schedule was first, and then I worked around that. My classes were second, and then I worked around that and found the jobs that could fit in. So I retired. Yeah, I think I did resign as an insurance agent. I think I went back. My dad's commercial landscape needed help, and I helped him like build up. Like I can't remember the timing of things. Yeah, that's it. I did. I went back and started helping him, building him up, and then I had part-time jobs. I worked for an assisted living. I would, go into someone's home and just help the person get up and down. And then there was one night job that was extra money. So I stayed overnight at someone's house, and that was hard on my daughter and I. But I
Mm-hmm.
carry that in my heart today. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
hard on her. She wanted me around, but that was better money for the overnight. So she was always with either my family or her dad when she was like had the visitation with them, or people I trusted. So
Wow. So you have been in the trenches and there are so many people who can identify with that. Was it the end goal of that degree and what you could do with it that kept you going through all of that? Is that takes some grit.
it was a lot of grit, all the homework. So
Yeah. That's
add that to you're managing all the work schedules and this and my daughter's school and being the mom and and then her visits with her dad changed, like it got less and less, but it ended up we found out there's a reason, there was some protection that needed to happen. And then now fast forward today, her relationship with her dad is healed, like they're working on the healing of that, so it's beautiful. We always wanted that for her, to
mm-hmm.
have that healing. um yeah, it was a lot of faith and prayer. Like I said, I cried a lot, prayed a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, asked for help. I had community, I had my neighbors, I had, friends, and I wasn't by myself like in that regard. I felt by myself sometimes, but then because of all the people in my life, I could call someone and say, I really need prayer today, or could you keep me in mind? And I can't tell you, like, even I would show up at Bible study sometimes, and the women did a collection for me, or
Mm.
someone would hand me an envelope out of the blue, like, and then they didn't know I was like the night before, not knowing how I was going to take care of something, and they gave me an envelope. Like
Mm.
surprises like that happened a lot. Heck, I met someone at a networking thing, and she was a florist donor, and I was so like it's such a romantic thing, and I had a book about a florist donor, and
Uh-huh.
and I gifted her the book. And she sent me the book back when she was done with the most giantest bouquet I have ever received. It was the first time I ever received a bouquet. It was not a bouquet, it's a vase, and it went up several, like it was tall flower.
I don't know
And
what you call those, but I know like a spray, I think maybe.
arrangement, like it was an
Yeah. Nice.
flower arrangement. I never received such beautiful flowers before. And that was
Aw.
the first of my wow. And then it was on a day, like the timing of when she was going to do that. It was on a day. I was having a day. And
Mm.
oh my gosh, my heart again. Like that happened a lot. I write about it too. It's in the book. Like all these little love things would come. But
Love it. I love
all of
that
us, yes,
you had that, had that support around you and that you can look back and recognize that. And then you turned it into, boy, it sounds like your book. You turned it into something beautiful by creating a foundation and passing it down.
yeah.
So,
And
so
then
you have the foundation, you've written a book, you've got a podcast, you are speaking. I can't even remember all the other things that were on my list.
huh,
And
yeah,
now, oh, you're a realtor too, I know,
yeah.
in Florida. And you're working on a historical fiction inspired by your parents' love story and your grandmother's life. And this is so timely because it reminds me of it's not exactly the same, but it reminds me of the Laurel Ingalls Wilder
Little
stories
House on the
because
Prairie.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
freshly rebooted and so this is timely. So what pulled you toward creating this book about your parents and your grandparents?
Oh, so first off, I'm a lover of history. So the two teachers I remember out of my whole journey, um, were history teachers. Both of them impacted me in a positive way, and both of them happened to be history teachers. No joke, in high school. I remember them. Mr. Bristol, Mr. Ferriello was his name, and they did that. So I always loved history. And then later, after learning about wow, generational repeats a real thing, and then understanding more and more as I got older and found, learned the facts of my mom and dad's upbringing, my grandparents, what they went through. Um, my mom came from a home that her mother did not like her and hated her. And so she
Mm,
experienced emotional abuse, but physical abuse um out of all her siblings the most. So and she was that. So on my dad's side, his mom and dad survived World War II. There's a huge story there, a lot of miracles involved. And he grew up in a silent home. The grandmother did not want my grandmother, his mother did not want children, but she agreed. It was like an agreement. I will have these
wow.
babies, kids, and I will raise them to a certain age. I will, at that point in time, you will take over, father. And the father never did. So the
Oh,
kids were kind of feral. So it was like my Uncle Chet, my dad, and then Uncle Andy, and then my Aunt Agnes and Uncle Mickey. Um, and he was one of the elder siblings, and he always made a way. He was a young entrepreneur as a little boy. Him and his brother worked at a place in Milford and just worked their way up. And they both have, all of them have companies, and my Uncle Mickey too, like all in the horticultural world, and they all just made a way. And how him and mom made a family. Like when I came along, he didn't say get rid of the baby. He said, I'll marry you. Let's get married and start a family. But they were connected. Like they were meant for each other, and
mm,
they were and the more I realized the layers of the redeeming that was going on when my mom and dad met, because when he went to go meet my mom's mom, she was not happy about it because here's someone
mm,
that loves my mom, and she was disrespectful. But my
mm,
dad stood up and made sure that when he was around, my mother would be treated a certain way,
mm.
period. And then, yeah, when he met the dad respected him because he saw when my mom needed to get up out of a chair, like he pulled her up and helped her. Like he always was watching my mom and so my grandpa respected that and liked my dad. Like, so, and so, yeah, my father got an I love you or a hug, I think, on his birthday once a year from mom, but his first hug from his dad on their wedding day when he married my mom. So
Oh,
they didn't know how to communicate. It was silent. And so there's silence, but there's a reason because my grandma, when Poland was invaded, when World War II, Hitler went one side and Russia went the other, and my grandma had just happened to go find her birth father and found out he had another whole family, and Russia was invading that side. So she was away from her what was
oh,
perceived as home for her because her she experienced other abuses and never talked about it with anybody, but her best friend knew about it. And later in life, when that best friend visited my relatives, my uncle would shared that she shared what happened to my grandma with her stepfather, the one
oh,
that
wow.
after her mom died. So
Oh,
yeah, so she's got a lot. And things spiritually happen. Like there's signs. Like I read a book about the war, and I remembered my grandma, and went on her deathbed. My Aunt Agnes, she was trying to ask her questions about your life. And at that point, she started really opening up, and she was trying to gather the notes. And so that's when she talked about the invasion and where she was, what happened, and some of that. And she was a part of the Trail of Tears. Her journey follows the Trail of Tears. There's a book about it.
mm-hmm.
General Anders, and he was like someone in her life that they didn't know each other personally, I don't think. It was just he was General Anders, she ran into him, and she was a part of the volunteers that got on the ship that got out because they
Mm-hmm.
ran out of room. There was people needing to evacuate. They were starving. And she was one of the ones that got on, and then they volunteered with the Royal Air Force. And that's where she met my grandfather. So I hope someday, I pray someday that, because I always was meant to be a romance writer, and these are going to be the romance, but there's going to be some serious drama because that's
Yeah,
what families are.
sounds
There's
like it.
layers,
So,
Kimberly. There's layers.
yeah, it
Junk,
needs those
tools.
layers. Yeah. So, Georgette, what we've talked about so much. What is life today for you based, in contrast to what it was 20, 30 years ago? What is life today for Georgette?
So for real, I look in the mirror now and I don't cringe. Like I actually look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, there she is. Like, you know, I feel pretty. Like I don't think about it like I used to.
Mm,
I used to hide behind my hair and I don't anymore. I'm wearing big glasses. Like I wear glasses of all different sizes and colors because I like it. Like I'm not
hmm
thinking about all this stuff. I'm not so insecure. I'll wear a bathing suit. I go to the beach in my bathing suit. I don't even give it a thought because I love being there. And
hmm
I don't and think joy. I mean, joy in the reading, joy in people, joy in seeing some dreams happen, and believing that means there's more to come. And honestly, there's still an urgency about me. My mom passed away without being the writer that she was. So I know like there's an urgency. I only have so much time left here on this earth, and there's so much to do and be and learn, especially if you're wanting to travel the world. There are so many beautiful places I want to go see. So I'm praying, God, well, what can I do? Bring those resources in because not only do I want to have fun, but I want to help people in the process. Like our
hmm
biggest dream, and my husband has this dream. He wants to build a building for the throwaways. Like we don't know how it would work in our community, but like I know two young people right now that would love, like they would benefit from a housing situation that would, and then a supportive environment where what are your gifts, what are your skill set, let's go get you into that job or that training program or back to school. Like I'm a believer of education. Education helps your perspective, but those are big dreams. If I become a millionaire tomorrow, Kimberly, I already have a plan. Like it's already laid out. I talked about it for a lot of years of what we would do when extra resources come. I mean, we're doing what we are right now with the little bit we have, but I hope it grows and grows because it's bigger than us. Like, we want to do these buildings and programs, and I want to write more books. So, guess what? I would love to have a team to help me put all the visions out,
Right.
create music, movies, and all of that. Like I see music with all the projects and the movies because I love the romance movies. I love movies that make you feel and think certain things. That's why I love reading the way I do. I get to
hmm
travel free through the book, but I definitely like going to real places and meeting the real people. Like it's a beautiful thing. So
I
I don't know.
love
I
your
feel good
energy
about
and your positivity, and I no matter what you do, it's going to be fun.
it.
I could
Yeah.
see it.
Yes, life's too short. Like people get hung up on, listen, the politics even. It's dicey, right? No, you know what? I was even listening to a podcast the other day of someone from the other side, you know? Oh, goodness. No, we're all human beings. We're all hearts. Back in the day, that was the best part of collaboration. You had different opposing views, and it was okay. You had different
Yes.
it's okay. You know, that's just different skills, different backgrounds, but let's talk about it. We might not ever agree, but we'll work it out. That's a better humanity experience. So life's too short. Don't get hung up on oh what someone said or did or he said or what they did to me. No, forgive and move on. Let go, like get it, let it go. Move on. Focus on who you are and what you love and share that. What are you good at? Share your gift. Like and then fill your bank up with good stuff. Go be happy. Go find your happiness and make you like feel yourself good and then share it. Share it. Pass it on.
I think we're done.
I love it. This was so much fun.
That was
Living
beautiful.
the good life is like this, like having a great conversation.
Yes. Oh, Georgia, thank you so much for being here today. That was amazing.
Thank you, Kimberly. I really appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Be sure to check the show notes for links mentioned in this episode and join us in the Living the Good Life Facebook community for previews of each episode, the opportunity to pose questions directly to our guests, bonus content, and a community of people committed to living their best life and sharing the journey. Thanks for listening. Let us know what value you received from this episode and what you'd like us to explore in the future in the comments. And please take a moment to drop us a like or some stars. I'm Kimberly Henry. Let's get out there and live the good life.